guys, what's up? It's NihonTiger. Welcome back to the VintageBeef Fan Server, and this is a zombie villager. Hi, buddy. How you doing? I want to get that checked out. Alright, so we are actually here at the tree farm, and right now, this could all be done off camera, but right now we're kind of going through the stage 1 process of reorganizing how all the trees are laid out here. So as you can tell, I've already got the acacia trees all set up. I'm kind of spacing them 5 apart in each direction, creating a grid pattern, and get a couple little blocks I need to spawn away, please. Thank you. And you can see one tree's already grown. But yeah, we're gonna be heading back inside. Oh, I should show this off too. I haven't showed this off, but I did a little bit of decorating down here. And these are picture frames. I can remove them for the moment if need be. But we've got all of our wood and saplings organized by tree type in these chests down here. So very happy about that. This looks really nice on the inside. I've got a desk here. I'll have probably have a villager that I capture and keep back here. He'll kind of be our clerk for Triassic Park. And I'll block this up and remove all that storage stuff and move it somewhere else in the near future. But we're pretty close to being done. I've got some other interior decorations I want to do with the tree farm. But for the moment, we're going to be heading back home past the zombies and the skeletons and the creepers and the bad stuff. Oh, I can hear him coming after me. So that's the UHC monument if you haven't seen that. So you got all 4 seasons and the winners up there. I hope there's an addition to that soon. I would like there to be something with my name on it. No word on that yet. I'll let you guys know, obviously, when something's coming up with that. But coming back through town, obviously there is their Kluksteiger pub, and there's Bill Nye, the science ride. Still hanging out over here by my pub. I'm gonna build you a nice little place. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! I saw into his skull, and then he whipped all the way around. That was frightening. But yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on lately with me. I've been working on a tree farm. It's been very quiet around here. I know people have been busy with stuff. Obviously, Slash has the new baby, and other people have been busy with various other things. So I've also been busy. I haven't been able to get on very much. But it's all work related stuff. I've been doing a lot of video in the evenings due to the state basketball tournament, and that's kept me particularly busy. Oh, I don't know if I've shown this off yet. I've kind of got an idea here for my portal. I want to do this kind of this stone brick, and then have there's torches back there, and then have like a little stone fence right there, and then obviously put some dark wood stairs up there for the ceiling, and obviously it comes back up here to our lovely little jungle temple, which we'll decorate the inside of as well. Still have to do that, and of course this spits us back out at home. So I don't know if I've shown this off either, but I finished the roof for the sunroom, I guess I'm calling it, which is where I keep my bed for now. I still have that Halloween costume contest. It's almost like an award now. I want to keep it there forever. But let's see, I finished that up a little bit. It looks really nice. And I still have these chests here, all these chests, and these are all going to get moved very soon, because in fact that's what we're working on today. Did I put all my cobble? I think all my cobble, that's all the ice that's left over from Slash's prank. But I think I put all my cobble way somewhere else. I meant to say way far away there, and I said way somewhere else. I guess it kind of gets the same message across, right? Because it's not here. I know I have a ton of it. I've been doing some work on a project that we're going to discuss in a moment here. And it has caused me to have a ton of cobble. So, I'm going to go ahead and take those. Now we got a crafting bench. But, progress has been coming along pretty nicely. Obviously, I've got my enchanting station up here. I think I know what I want to turn this into now. I have to check again and make sure that I can actually build it the way I want to build it. And I might want to build something up on that top of that tree now. And oh man, that's just a beautiful sight, isn't it? Just the sun coming up and derping and all that fun stuff over the treetops. This is why I like this here. It looks really nice. It looks beautiful from back here. It's one of my favorite views in Minecraft ever. It's just seeing the moon kind of set in the background down over these trees and the sunrise over the other side, and then you get this beautiful sunroom here. You get to watch the sunrise every morning. It's great. So let's go downstairs because that's where we're heading today. And we'll have a topic to discuss as well, talk about for a little bit. But this is just kind of the inside of the main trunk down. And then here is my small, tiny reed farm that I've built that fits inside this space. I can't actually make it bigger because if I make it bigger, it will punch through the side of the mountain, and I don't want it to do that. But this is usually sufficient enough for my needs. So we're going to come on down here. We're going to come on down to this area right here, and I'm going to show off what I've been working on lately. So, ta-da! Take a look. I'm like hollowing out a huge chunk of this inside of this mountain. If you don't know where this is in the caves that are beneath my treehouse, which also leads to that mine shaft I did the AMA in. It's all kind of in the same area. But this goes further down. This goes almost directly down to the mine shaft. And this will eventually kind of extend all the way down as well. You know, actually this side is the one that's going to go all the way down. This side will just come down to here. And what this is going to be is my storage room. So most of you know that I tend to like large capacity storage rooms, generally circular in shape. And I'm using these stone picks because it's just cobble. I don't want to waste my good picks on cobble and stone and dirt and all that stuff. It's not worth the extra diamonds I'm going to have to use to repair them. So that's why I'm using the stone picks here. But the idea here, and I'll explain very briefly, the idea here is I kind of want this to be like an abandoned catacomb mine shaft. So kind of think like Indiana Jonesy or Spelunky-like. Like think of the mines in Spelunky, how they kind of have that ruined look to them with all the wood and dirt and stone all mixed together. So that's kind of the idea of what we're going for, kind of this naturally ruined catacomb that will turn into a modular storage area. And I said modular because it's basically going to be, I'll show this as well this episode, but it's basically going to be, we're kind of building in a circle, and each of these in layers, and each of these layers can be duplicated on each level to provide X amount of storage space, and I can do as many or as few as I need, and I can expand it kind of almost at will. I'll just have to dig out the areas that I need to dig out to get to the space I need for expansion. So, but that shouldn't be too bad. It shouldn't be too bad at all. So let me make sure. Okay, yeah, I want to dig up here. It's kind of hard to remember which blocks you want to dig and which blocks you're supposed to leave alone. So this is why I have so much cobble stored away as well, is because I have all of this stuff to dig up. And while I'm digging, I thought I would talk a little bit about something that's kind of important to all YouTubers and it's relevant because I was just in a Twitter conversation last night with a few other people about it, and that would be promotion. That would be obviously promoting oneself or other people promoting other channels or things of that nature. And I think what kind of got it started, so is this all squared off now? Okay, it's all squared off so I can work on the interior here. What it got it all kind of started was that I think I want to remember the right people who were in this conversation. I think DualGit was having a discussion on Twitter with a few other people, and he had noted that based on what he'd seen, that there were fewer bigger channels that were kind of promoting smaller channels, and he had commented something to the extent that was a little, it was a little sad to see that, and that he'd hoped, some of the bigger channels would kind of give back to the community in a way. Well, not necessarily that he was hoping that they would give back to the community, He's not like saying it's their obligation or anything, but he's saying that he would hope they wouldn't forget about the little guys and forget about, doing things like if you see a small channel that you like, letting people know that, hey, this guy's pretty cool over here, or hey, you should check out so and so because they make good videos. And he got quite a response to just the suggestion of that, and including from a couple other YouTubers like Liam and Highboy. And Liam and Highboy pretty much had said that, well, it's not something you should A, depend on, and B, it's not something that these bigger channels should have to be beholden to, that it should have to promote the little guys if they don't want to. And in some cases, I'll say that both sides are right. I mean, I don't even think maybe they're making different arguments. I think in this case they're kind of making a similar argument, but so wait, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I dug out a little too far. Whoops. 3, 4, 5, and then these two are supposed to be. See, I knew I'd do that. I dug out a little too far. So these are supposed to be just kind of regular wall blocks. Whoopsie! My mistake. Oh, and there goes my axe. Great. So let's make another axe. But I think both sides have some valid points, and I wanted to address those in this video just as a general topic of discussion. And to Highboy's point and to Liam's point, yes, I would definitely agree with you guys that it is not the obligations of a bigger channel to necessarily go out and promote little channels all the time. In fact, it is. I think most of the people in the conversation also agreed with that point too. That it's not an obligation. They're not kind of forced. They shouldn't be forced into promoting small channels all the time, because a lot of these guys don't have the time to even watch videos of other people on the servers they play with. In some occasions, I mean, some of the big guys on Minecraft have admitted that they don't get to watch everybody's stuff. In fact, they don't watch most of the videos that come out on the Minecraft server. I think they, I think they're too busy really focusing on their content as they should, and that takes a ton of time. And obviously, if you spend 8 hours a day recording and editing, and then having to sit down and play games and play this game and that game for 8-10 hours a day, including recording time and all that fun stuff, making thumbnails, and sometimes you even have to do networking. But yeah, I mean, that takes up a ton of time. Even for someone like me who's a tiny channel, I spend a lot of time recording and editing and going through, managing sound levels, making sure that if I cough in the middle of a video, I can edit out the sound properly. And it's happened before. If you guys just haven't probably noticed it that well, because I'm pretty okay at editing out those things. But you know, it's a serious job if you're going to do it full time. And when you're doing it full time, that sometimes means you don't have. Do I have anything else besides that? I don't necessarily use links. Sometimes it means you don't have the opportunity to go ahead and spend an hour or 2 or 3 just watching other people's videos when you have to use that time to go make your own stuff. So yeah, that alone, that lack of time alone makes it really hard even sometimes for you to do something other than promote the other big channels that you hang out with. And I think that is something that Duel mentioned, that he was kind of a little disheartened to see, and he's right a little bit on that. I mean, there are YouTubers who do a really good job of promoting smaller channels, and I'll point to, in particular, he used Poet, also known as Poet Plays, also known as Poet Tendo, as a good example of someone who does that. And I would likewise add to that mix Biffa, who has his Tea Time series, which has been on a little bit of a hiatus as of late. Don't know. I'm guessing he just hasn't had the time to record it or whatnot. But Biffa would always do like a channel spotlight, which actually is based off something that Doc used to do. And Doc M77, for those of you who don't know, very good YouTuber from Germany, part of the Minecraft crew. But they would, Doc would usually, during his Dear Doc series, spotlight 3 to 4 channels. I think eventually he kind of toned it back to 1 or 2 when he relaunched Dear Doc, just because there were so many channels, and it kind of became overwhelming for him to have to do multiple channels. And also kind of, I guess, perhaps even diluted some of the recommendations he was making. So he decided to dial it back a little bit. So I'm going to go, I think I want this layer up here to be actually where the next row comes in. And we're going to do it like that. This is going to be cool the way this looks. But yeah, you kind of had to dial that back a little bit. But he would do YouTubers of various sizes, and he would say, hey, go check out these guys, they're pretty cool. And when you look back at the actual channels that were kind of profiled on Dear Doc, some incredibly surprising ones you'll find are Sky Does Minecraft, for example, Sky Army. All those kids who like to talk about butter and all that stuff. He mentioned checking out Sky when Sky had about 5,000 subscribers. So this was like way long ago. This was way before Sky Does Minecraft became really, really super popular. And Doc was like, hey, check this guy out. He's pretty cool. He's doing cool stuff. He's got this cool series. Based on, I forgot exactly what it was, but, I don't think that, perhaps Doc alone gave him a bajillion subscribers, but it sure helps. It sure helps anytime you get a shout out. And in a sense, Duel is also right, because a lot of times nowadays you do see this mentality of bigger channels sticking with bigger channels. Part of that is because it's easier to record with bigger channels. It helps with your views, obviously, if people who are on bigger channels are watching your stuff as well, watching your perspectives of the same thing. But it also kind of feeds into some of my fears about, for example, about the Minecraft server. The one thing I've never wanted it to become, and I've always been a little worried about it becoming, is instead of being just a group of friends, it becomes kind of all-star Minecraft, where the only people who are getting on the server aren't necessarily people who the Minecraft guys like, but it's just big channels that maybe they like, you know. Whereas I can understand now that it's such a big thing that they may say, okay, well, we're not gonna invite person X because he only has, you know, 5,000 subs, even though we like the guy. But I've always worried, especially in the Minecraft community, if it becomes something where, you know, you must have 100,000 subscribers to be relevant, or else no one will want to do anything with you. And as soon as you get 100,000, the floodgates open and everyone's like, hey, you want to be my friend now? Because I don't think if that's the case, or if that were to be the case, I don't think it would be a great situation, because that doesn't necessarily breed growth. And I think that's where Duel was getting from his perspective. He was thinking kind of in terms of making sure that, you know, hey, are we making sure that the community is growing? And to an extent, it is kind of a valid thing to bring up, but it's also something. It's kind of a double-edged sword, where yes, we need to, as a community, make sure that, you know, we're growing, or else at some point we'll just kind of become nothing. But at the same time, it's not necessarily the big YouTubers' job to be the ones to ferment all of that growth. You know, obviously the YouTuber or YouTubee, or not to be, that is the question. But obviously the person who's setting up the channel has to do a significant amount of legwork to make sure that they're producing content, that, you know, they're doing proper networking, that, you know, not just relying on getting a shout out from, you know, a big name YouTuber as the only way to grow their channel. And that's kind of, I think, what Liam and Highboy were hitting on, and I think that they're right as well. I think I do think, you know, obviously that when a big YouTuber can give a shout out to somebody or can help promote somebody, it's a great thing. But it's also not entirely their job, and, you know, oftentimes they don't have enough time in their schedule to be able to sift through and figure out a way to, you know, promote anyone who's, you know, not a friend or not someone who they already play with. And it's a complicated question about how we work around that as a YouTube community, as a Minecraft YouTube community. And one of the things that people have been doing that I think is a good workaround, or a good, not necessarily alternative for it, but a good way to supplement that in case that, you know, people aren't able to help promote who are bigger channels because of time constraints or what have you, is there's a lot of smaller channels that are kind of getting together and banding together and promoting each other, and I think that's a great way to go about it. You see a lot of, I guess, I mentioned this before, but you see a lot of servers that are being set up, like the former Red Cube server, which is, you know, now gone for various reasons. But excuse me, I had a little bit of a burp in my throat there that I was trying to suppress while I'm recording. But yeah, you have this situation, you have these servers that are kind of places for these people who are all Let's Players to get together and promote each other. As I mentioned before, I don't think it's necessarily my kind of deal right now, but more power to them if they want to do it. But it's you know, in addition to being a good way for people to promote each other, it's also sometimes fun if you can get together with friends who are of a similar channel size. They don't necessarily have to be complete strangers. It doesn't have to be like a server where everyone is a Let's Player, but they don't necessarily know each other before getting on the server. A lot of times I'm seeing this more and more now. It's channels of a similar size are kind of getting together and doing stuff, doing events or doing servers, or kind of, I guess you could say, not necessarily like a server, like, you know, oh, let's do an SMP server together, but kind of events, event servers, specific mod servers, like the Pixel League server is a lot of people who are perhaps of similar size. And oh, I'm trying to go for that, and I need to go for right here. Okay, got it. Gotta get used to this. But you have a lot of people who are both friends through Terrace, who runs the server, and people who are also kind of a similar size in subscription count, and they're all playing together. And they're not necessarily like, you know, like everybody's not like, you know, not like a beef or, oh, it's interesting. Didn't expect that there. I'll just use this to finish it off. Huh. Oh, this is right next to where my old diggy hole used to be to get down here. Interesting. But you know, it's not like all these people are billion YouTube subscribers. You have some people like Dyerdorf and Tiki that have smaller channels compared to some of the Minecraft guys like an Anderzel or an MC Gamer or whatnot. But they're all kind of helping each other and promoting each other that way. And I think that's great. I think that's great when people do that kind of stuff. You don't have to be you know, a gigantic guy helping out a little guy directly. You can do it indirectly by doing server things like that, or just by sometimes even hanging out with someone on like a Hypixel or something. You don't have to be like, I gotta go on this guy's server and take a tour like I used to have to do in the old days. That was the old way of doing shout out sometimes, is you would have people who are kind of like inviting these bigger YouTubers on to come and check out their server and meet everybody. And I think that time and day has kind of passed, because so many of the big YouTubers are just not going to have the time to do it. But yeah, I think it's something that, you know, you could find alternate ways to go ahead and support the little guys without having to necessarily hold their hand and introduce them to everybody and be like, hey everybody, this is Little Jimmy, and Little Jimmy is a YouTuber and he has X number of subscribers, so you should go and subscribe to him. I just want to get an idea of how this looks while walking in. I think that looks alright. I'm gonna change this to just a spruce log backing at some point all the way down from the top there, just to kind of keep the theme going. And yeah, this is looking good to start with. I think this is a good start. So you can obviously see where the modular idea comes. It's very symmetrical, and I'm gonna go ahead and put more chests here on either side and kind of expand this out this way too. I'm gonna make some more picks, obviously, to do some more mining. I might start using iron, because I know I have a ton of iron, and I know it's not going to be something that I'm hurting for. But yeah, I think I've said all I want to say on that topic. Ooh, oh noes, oh noes, oh, whoops, caps locked on, sorry. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say for today. I will finish this up. You'll probably see it in my thumbnail on my video. Is probably how I'll show off the finished version of at least this layer up here. But I'm going to get to work on that a little bit more. And yeah, I think I've kind of said everything I wanted to say on the topic for today. And yeah. That's not a good outro, is it? No. But thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video and the progress I'm making on the storage area. So for the next episode, I think what we might do, and maybe we'll do it right after I stop recording, is to start to move all the things down there. Because I think it's time. To get rid of the floaty chests. They are annoying me to no end, and I want to be able to start decorating what really is my living room here. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Good luck, good mining, good fun, and yeah, I screwed that up, but whatever. I'll see you next time.